Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Kula, Guy, the chickens, Mama Mia, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, guys. It's been a while. I have been out working on a couple of projects, and so my goal has always been like, okay, when I get home, I'm going to do a live. And if you've ever worked production, at the end of a production day, the one thing you want to do is crash. So I have learned that that is just not going to happen at the end of a production day. At the end of production, you just want to come home and crash. Yesterday, I came home and I sat on the floor. I was so tired. I sat on the floor for like almost 2 hours. I just sat, It just, it's just one of those things. And so today I have learned, I was like, okay, I have a project I'm working on later today. I'm going to do it before. That way I don't have to think about it at the end of the day, because I know at the end of the day I'm going to be tired. So, and I missed you all. So I was like, I can't get another day without saying hello to my friends at Sussex Squad. So hi, guys. Hello. I'm just going to scroll up here and say hello to all my friends that have joined me and probably will join me later. Hi, Fancy is here, and Connie and Annie, and Church Nelly, our awesome moderator, is here. Hi, Church Nelly, from hanging out with us from South Carolina, and all our wonderful South Carolina squaddies. Hello. Let's see who else is here. Robert Collins is here from Rome, hanging out at the wine bar. My usual spritzer, Robert. Enjoy that for me. Jan Martin is here. Hello, Jan. And awesome moderator, Lydia. Oh, Lydia, thank you so much for your donation. As usual, you are so awesome. Thank you for always supporting and, financially. And even though you are already a Two Cents crew member, thank you so much. It's like, hello, Pedal and Sussex Squad family. Much love to y'all. I will catch the replay. Have a great day. Lydia is working today, so or whatever it is she's doing, maybe just have fun gallivanting around. You go, Lydia. But thank you so much for dropping in, and Lydia will catch us on the replay. Let's see, Jen, we got already. See, Gwendolyn is here. And let's see who else is in the chat. God, our awesome moderator. Cookies and Cream. Oh, where are you there? Cookies and Cream. Here we go. Cookies and Cream is here. Hi, Black Queen is here. Hello. Oh no. Black Queen says, at urgent care with my 17-year-old son who just came down with the cold or flu. Oh no. Looks like everyone in town is sick, and I'll be listening periodically. I will be praying for your 17-year-old son's health. No, this is flu season. A lot of people are getting their flu shots and everything. I've never gotten a flu shot. I don't know. I've never liked flu shots. And I just never liked the idea of them. I've just never had one. So I'm just like, I am just keeping my mask on. I got COVID shots, and I'm like, that's one too many things. So I'll just keep my mask on and stay away from everybody. But let's pray for Black Queen's son, that, the cold and flu is awful. So this is definitely the season. Margaret is here. Victoria is here. Hello, guys. Emerald. Hey, Emerald is also here. And let's scroll down and see who else. Oh, Rochelle is here. Hi, Rochelle and Marjorie and Sonia is here. Oh, Patty, I just missed Patty. Hello, Patty. And Patty and Patricia is also here. And Mad World and Mariana is here. I love that, Mariana. Nalathandu. Hello, Nalathandu. Hello, guys. Sylvia, Sonia got you ready. And all our friends will get to, Victoria. Hi, Victoria and Claudia. And we'll get to as we go on. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. for the hour, and then I'm running off to shoot my project. If you don't know, I do photography, so I do projects. Last week it was a few of them I was working on, and a few projects, different projects working on last week, and so my it was very light on the podcast end of things last week. So but this week would be a little bit more. I'll be hanging out in this corner of the world a little bit more. But actually, the last few days in Sussex world have been quite calm, at least what I've seen. Our faves are doing their thing. I know Meghan was out shopping, and I don't do, I saw the photos, but I don't post tabloids or paparazzi shots. I have a thing about that. So, but I'm sure you guys have, seen the pictures. So, because they've been all over, I'm sure you guys have seen them. So she is doing fantastic, shopping in her high-end shops, and making crazy people and jealous people all the more jealous, and clutching their pearls in different ways, and having their knickers go in a twist and all these different ways. So may they always have to do that. I am just like, our faves are fine. They're doing fine, hanging out under their tree or shops or wherever it is they are. So, and cloud chasers with the last podcast, still going, I guess. I mean, I guess their 15 minutes have worn out now, so thankfully. And that's the thing about cloud chasing. It's kind of like, you don't realize that it's only a 15-minute fame, right? You realize that, right? And then it just, people then forget who you are. So, but a lot of people chase clout. So, whatever, our faves are doing great. Let's see. Rochelle is letting us know. So the UK got its first person of color as their PM. That's a good thing, is it? I mean, yes, the first person, but he's a Tory. So don't forget what the Tories stand for. Person of color or not, they have to go through Boris, and then they have to go through Liz Truss, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess you will do. And again, don't forget what the Tory, I don't care what color it is, even if it was, if it was Kemi, or if it's, whatever his name is now, the new the PM, all of a sudden the name just went away from me. Rishi Sunak. They all stand for the same thing. They are not here for us. They are basically gatekeeping white supremacy. That is what Black people in the Tory party are doing. So, for us Black and brown people, just know that that's what you get. It's kind of the same as the what's her name, who was the home secretary, what is it, the home secretary, what she was called, the one who was about overseeing immigration and all of that stuff. They are the same people. They haven't changed, no matter what whether their color is. As long as they're in that party, Black and brown people in the Tory party are gatekeeping white supremacy. That's what they're doing. So yeah. It's let's see, maybe they need to put that, the lettuce again, because let's see how long he'll last, because what they will do, just as the last one, who basically was over the economy, got kicked out in less than 30 something days, whatever, before Liz Truss, she had to go. Let's see, that lettuce might reappear again. So anyways, our faves are on this side of the pond, so Sylvia says, but it said the cloud chasers are not listening to Archetypes guests, but trying to fact check Meghan at her own podcast. I know, it's so ridiculous. It's kind of, I'm glad Meghan has not responded, because it's kind of like, look, if you're not gonna respect her to listen to the podcast before you speak, why should she respond to it? And I think that's where, one of our squaddies on Twitter was like, this past week we kind of got away. We kind of got caught up in all of the hoopla about, these people from Deal or No Deal and all of that stuff. The fact is, none of these people, and I've said it in the last podcast, none of these people really listen to the podcast, because if they listen to the podcast, that wouldn't be the conversation that they would be having, And so since they wouldn't do that, we don't need to give them air. And so, so coming podcasts, if, and you can tell right away who listened to the podcast or not. and who just listened to a soundbite and then is trying to make a judgment off of a soundbite. So I guess it behooves us, and in the future going forward, I'm just not going to feature any of these people and give them any more air than they deserve, so which is really none. So anyways, moving on. Tomorrow, talk about podcasts. Thank you, Sylvia. Talk about podcasts. Tomorrow is Archetypes Tuesday, so I am very excited about that. I put a poll, and of course, we're always wrong with these polls. Just get myself out of the way there. I'm always wrong. I'm just never in the ballpark. But we had a poll, and our poll, different topics. So the top one was, gold digger, that we think that might be the next one. Who knows? And then a different topic from any of the ones that are on this list was second, which is the same thing that happened in the first poll I did. And then cougar, the B word, and then the W word. You see my little asterisk next to them. So, who knows? And I did this, put those because, judging from the last topic, and I feel like she kind of goes in themes like there were 3 straight topics where dealt with, or at least platformed Asian women and Asian American, whatever, Asian women. And then she did this one with Paris. So I don't know, maybe it could remain in the same theme, but we'll see. Cougar and the B word are all 9%, and then we have the W word, and that's 2%. So there you go. We'll see tomorrow, but I am excited as be up at 6 a.m. or whenever to listen to this podcast. Very excited to see. And of course, Archwell, actually since Archetypes came out, Archetypes was their homepage. That was what their landing page was. And then they went back to their regular page and obviously gave us this beautiful photo of, sort of like just a different take on the one we had before. I don't know. Harry is always making Meghan laugh. So who knows what he said to her that's making her grin, but whatever it is, we love it. Whatever it is, we absolutely love that she is smiling. That is all we need, and again, this was before the Queen passed and all that mess that happened, but I don't care. This was a moment that it was a beautiful moment with them, and I'm so happy. I mean, I'm telling you, Meghan Harriman sure knows how to capture their love. I wish he was in the US, that he could be just photographing them all the time, because I think he has done the best job. And even when he has done it remotely, he's done the best job of it all. With just photographing them and capturing the real essence of who they are. So I absolutely love that. So yeah. What else is happening? Not a whole lot again. I actually saw this, and this was kind of cute. Meghan talked about this in her interview, and I'm actually going to move my let's get rid of my little that scrolly bar in the bottom. Again, if you haven't subscribed to us, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way when we drop a video. Like and share this video, please, and help us to grow our channel. So but we'll get back to that at the end. Let's see. Okay. All right, so this today's Parent magazine, they just basically took something from Meghan, what she said in the interview, and related to, like, as every parent says, yep, Meghan Markle is that mom, and we can totally relate. And it goes on at the bottom, it says, add this to the list of things that all moms do at one time or another, and another, and another, and another. Do you ever start singing a song to yourself and you quickly rocking out and you realize it's literally a cocomelon jam about eating peas? Yeah, us too. And the same goes for Meghan Markle, who says she's totally that mom. And in a new interview with Variety, where she also shared her kids' favorite TV shows and a bit about the family morning routine or evening. We've all been there. Wait till she hears the songs about planets in the solar system. The number of times complete strangers have heard me singing about the plight of side-lying Uranus is too many to count. And so basically, it was Meghan talking about singing that Tyrannosaurus song from the kids show. And so but I just thought it was cute. It was just, what parents do. Not just parents, I would have to say. Because when you teach kids, and anybody who's taught kids and you're around their songs, because you're singing all these songs with them, and you end up singing that songs, I know because I've done it. And I don't have any kids. And so when you teach kids, you end up, if you babysit a lot or babysat a lot around kids and they're watching their shows, you end up doing the same thing. So I absolutely love that Meghan is that mom. And I love that, different magazine like that. I know Fatherly, they really are up on what Harry is doing, and when he talks about his kids. And I remember Fatherly talking about when Harry talked about telling Archie about sitting basketball and explaining to him that some people sit and play, and just made it a normal conversation. And Archie loves sitting basketball or sitting volleyball, and so Fatherly picked up on it. And so I love that Meghan is now appealing, not now, but at least it's the first time I saw that magazine write about it, that that she's appealing to moms and they're relating to her, and it's very relatable. And that's the thing, because again, so many times people, it's like, oh, she's a royal, she's not like us. And it's like, no, that's just a ridiculous title. She is a normal human being. And so which is like, you wish you didn't have to say. It's like, hello, but it's kind of like celebrities, they're just like us kind of thing. So but I love the fact that they're writing about it. And so more and more people are getting to know the real Meghan instead of the nonsense that the tabloids, that caricature of whatever it is that the tabloids are trying to spread to people. So but it just I loves it. Let's see what else is happening. And Curio Officials, they are the jewelry company that Meghan, the jewelry she was wearing. Oh my goodness! And I realized I just covered up the top photo, that ring that she was wearing. But I realized I just covered it up. But you can see it in the second photo. But the jewelry she was wearing is from them. And they said, Curio Officials, it's giving the world most iconic woman, all down to team Kiri or Kyrie, however they say it. It might be Kiri. We're pleased to present the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, in an assortment of Kiri and for her variety cover story. The Duchess wears the orb ring, which is the ring on her finger there, and with brown tiger eye and quartum 2 ring, quartum stacking rings. Oh, she's wearing a lot of rings in gold vermeil. All available to shop at Kiri.com. So who knows? They might be all out at the moment, because whenever Meghan wears things, they tend to go away really fast. Part of me is really trusting, you're quoting Meghan, part of me is really trusting, really open. That's how I move in the world. I have to remember that I don't ever want to become so jaded that a piece of me goes away. So despite anything, onwards, I can survive it. And again, she, this is from the interview she was talking about when they would ask her about the cut interview. And this is something she says, no matter what happens, she's a trusting person and she doesn't want that part of her to go away. And this happened actually on Twitter. Twitter, of course, when you post, brands post something positive about Meghan, Twitter trolls tend to assemble under their post if they don't, if they don't turn off their comments. Twitter trolls, they see the word Meghan or Meghan Markle or Duchess of Sussex, it's like, that's like a bell for them to come running to your post and post the most horrendous things. So this is a post also from Kiri. It says, you're an Afrofuturist luxury brand founded by a Black designer searching desperately for an ounce of concern, as your Twitter mentions, filled with irate royalists upset that the first Black woman to join the British monarch had the nerve to step back from it and live her life instead of doing live her life instead, doing fabulous photo shoots draped in your beautiful jewelry. I love that. He did not care about them. You know, they would come on every post and he's like, I am desperately searching for an ounce of concern. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And, you know, they're coming under the post of a black jewelry designer. I mean, hello. Trying to attack Meghan under the post of a black jewelry designer. I mean, unreal. But that's what. Yes. Anyways, before we go on to this little nonsense, let's just jump in the chat and see what y'all are saying for a second. I'm talking. Let's see what y'all are saying. Oh, Elaine Parker says, oh, she's talking to church. Nelly, I can sing Barney songs from when my grandson was small. Yep. A lot of people have done that. Let's see. Oh, Leslie says, I saw a pedal on, so I jumped over here. Oh, was somebody else on? I didn't even check. I did not check. I didn't know that someone else was on. So, but I'm happy to have you, Leslie. Happy you came over. Let's see. Let's see. Elaine, Sylvia says, talking to Elaine, yes, Elaine, it is just human. I remember knowing all the words to the Lion King songs and singing the words. Yep. I do it all the time. It's hard because they're very catchy songs. Even sometimes I'm working on a music video right now and it's the same thing. Because you hear the song play over and over and over and you just can't help yourself. And when you're, same thing working with kids or you're taking care of kids or they are your kids, they love the same thing. They're creatures of habit. They love the same thing over and over and over. And if they like it, you'll just hear it over and over. And it's hard to not be singing it. So yeah. Let's see. As before we move on to Queen Camilla and her little mess. Let's see. Okay, so we'll just jump into Camilla. Let's see. So, it's so funny. I saw this today and it's from the Times of India. So, apparently Queen Camilla is in India. According to Times of India, it says UK Queen Consort Camilla slips into Bangalore on wellness visit. The United Kingdom's Queen Consort Camilla landed in Bangalore on a private visit for her first overseas tour. She came by British Airways flight Thursday, traveled by road for nearly 40 kilometers to Kempegowda International Airport in Sukia. I'm sure I butchered those names. A Tony Holistic Health and Wellness Center in Whitefield. She'll be undergoing rejuvenation therapies during her nearly 10-day visit. According to sources, the 75-year-old Camilla, wife of the Queen of King Charles III, was accompanied by a few friends and escorted by members of royalty and specialist protection, an elite force of Scotland Yard, police sources said. There were strict instructions not to publicize her trip as it's a private visit. No public engagements, programs, or interactions have been scheduled during her stay. Sukia Chairman Dr. Isaac Mathai says between holistic physician for Camilla and Charles has been a holistic physician for Camilla and Charles for several years. Personnel at Sukia cited confidentiality clauses and refused to divulge details about the Ayurvedic and naturopathy. Oh my goodness, I cannot read and see and speak. Therapy she would be undergoing. So anyway, it's so funny because I'm reading this. I'm like, oh, so it's a 10-day tour? It's a 10-day tour. It's a 10-day private visit. She's not going to be doing any private public engagement. So basically what this is, she's here for 10 days with her girlfriends. And look, if you can afford this sort of thing and you can afford to go off to India for some some natural therapies, just some natural wellness, whatever it is, Look, these are hard times. And I don't fault anybody for doing it. I don't, I'm not going to come down on somebody going to just, it's a lot of stress. You need to take care of your wellness, your mental wellness, whatever you're going. My only problem with this is your country right now is a mess. Your people can't really they don't have the money to feed themselves, to take care of I just saw a video a couple of days ago of this elderly lady who's worked all her life. She has a home, whatever, and now she has to do, on some weeks, she's still working, by the way. On some weeks, she can't even afford to take a bus to work. She has to decide whether to eat or to pay rent, or her bills, or her electric bills, and all of these things. And this is my problem with this issue. Like, you are the queen of this country. You are the head of state. And if your country is in a state that it is, where people cannot afford to feed themselves, they can't. This woman is, and she is just one of, I'm sure, millions of people in the UK right now who may lose their homes because they just don't have the funds to pay for any of this stuff. They can't feed their families. Kids are going to school hungry. This is not the type of thing you do in the middle of those things. And if you want to do those things, you do them at home. You don't go off to India for 10 days with your girlfriends in secret. And so it's one of those things where it's like the royal family they just have not learned to read a room. And maybe they've read the room and they just don't care. Like, I want to think that, they just don't read the room, because you hate to think that people know exactly, they've read the room, they know exactly, and then they're just evil enough to be like, I don't care, let them eat cake. And so and again, it's like the secrecy of doing it as well, and again, in a normal situation, I don't care. Look, go take care of your mental health, do whatever if you can afford it, go do it. The other part of this is when you bring in Scotland Yard Police, her police protection, and Scotland Yard Police, that's taxpayers paying for these people. The very taxpayers who can't afford to eat right now, who can't afford to pay their bills right now. They're the ones paying for this protection in India. And so that's my thing with and again, it's kind of like, why aren't people protesting these things? Why aren't people protesting these things? I'm assuming, her therapy and all of that, I am assuming that is privately funded. I am assuming that they're not going to put that, but knowing them, taxpayers are probably picking up that bill too. We know that the security stuff, that's taxpayers paying for that. But again, it's the tone deafness of doing this when your people cannot afford to live. When your country right now, like we just learned today, they got, a new prime minister, the third one. This is a mess. Who knows how long he's going to last? This is not the time to leave your country to go on a wellness visit and then have the nerve to be like, okay, no, it's going to be completely private. There's not going to be any. So I'm not here for the people of India. I'm just here so I can take from, what I get from the culture, from the people of India. This is ridiculous. And on top of that, the futures are on vacation because their kids, I guess it's midterm or half term or however you call it in the UK. I may have just gotten that term wrong, but they're also on vacation. Again, tone deafness. This is not the time you go on vacation. If you want to spend again, I don't care. If people's children are home, you want to spend the best of your time with your kids. That's fine. A few days, whatever. But again, as head of state, when you are going to claim to people that your one job is to serve the people, and you want to throw that out, we're about duty and service and duty and service and duty and service. Well, this is the time your country needs you to be in your country and serving your people. This is when they need you. This is not the time to go off to another country to have your wellness stuff. This is when you are needed. Not some, go off and do some ribbon cutting and waving and smiling at people. This is when you need to speak up. This is when you need to be sharing your wealth with the people that need it. This is when you need to go into the communities and help people, and so that they don't have to depend on food banks. This is when you're needed. You got one job. This is your one job that you've been blasting and trying to convince the world that only you, the royals, are about duty and service. Yet you are failing the one job you have in the moment when your country needs you the most. And so this is the kind of nonsense. If I ever want to take the royal family serious, it's like if I ever even thought of doing that, this would be the thing that would throw me off. I mean, this is when you need it. Vacation should be the last thing on your mind. You want a massage, you want to stay in your country, have a massage therapist come over to your whatever palace you've decided to be in today, and do it there. This is not the time to leave your country. And so I just, I never understand these people. I mean, at least, we saw King Charles was out yesterday or whatever. And so at least he is in the country. But it's like the rest of it's like, what is wrong with you? And of course, if that was Harry and Meghan, we know what the press would be saying. And of course, why are we learning this from Times of India? Because, I mean, I don't know. I hadn't checked. But as far as what has come across my Twitter feed, I don't think I've seen anybody in the UK reporting this. So, again, I hadn't checked, so you guys could tell me if they've reported this in the UK. I'm like, well, why am I learning this from the Times of India instead of the UK? So anyway, Sean says, hi, Sean, thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate it. She says she's over there. Thank you, Sean, for the humor. She's over there to steal more jewelry from kids again for her crown. Ah, yes, that crown of stolen jewels. Yeah. Who knows? Whenever these people come to your country, hide your jewelry. Because next thing you know, it'll end up in the UK and it'll be like, it's a gift. Yes, we know. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. I appreciated that laugh. But anyways, moving on. Environmentalists they've been having a field day the last few days, or at least the last couple of weeks. They've been making a ruckus in the UK. I think it was last week, some activists went to the museum and throw can of tomato, paste or whatever, tomato soup at a Monet painting. But, in the museum, even though it looks like it, it's there and you can touch it, whatever, they're all behind glass for obvious reasons. So they must be thanking their lucky stars because two environmentalists went and threw tomato soups at this, very expensive Monet painting. And because it was behind glass, it wasn't damaged in any way. But their thing is like, you are more interested in this painting than you are in people's lives. And so along with that, I saw that, and this is actually, I just took a screenshot from a video. Climate activists have thrown chocolate cake at Madame Tussauds wax figure of King Charles III in London. The two protesters are from the environmental group Just Stop Oil and are demanding that the UK government halt all new oil and gas licenses. So needless to say, they went right past William, who's right there, and he is also a so-called environmentalist. They went right past him and went for King Charles's face, and that's the only person. Camilla is there, and they didn't touch, they didn't touch the ladies, obviously. And then they went right past, maybe they just didn't know who he was. Went right past Prince William and went for King Charles's face. And so they put, chocolate cake all over his face. And oddly enough, King Charles has been a so-called environmentalist for all this time, and apparently is advocating against oil and all of that stuff. But you know how hypocritical the royal family is. So people are saying, well, they shouldn't do that because King Charles is actually on their side. He's African. But again, the royal family is so hypocritical, environmental hypocrites. They're such environmental hypocrites that it's like they say one thing and they do something completely different. So maybe these people know what they're doing. So anyways, our faves are on the other side of the the other side of the pond and far away from that mess. Joe, oh Joe says too bad the glass was there. Yeah. I'm sure. Well, I'm sure the museum is like thanking their lucky stars that they put the glass that behind the glass, because that would have been a goner. But yeah. But I'm sure they put all of them behind glass because people would be tempted to touch, and then when you touch stuff like that, and especially when paintings are they'll disintegrate, so they put them behind there to protect them. So I'm sure they are very happy they made that choice. So yeah. Let's see. And what else? We just have a short day today, actually. Just minor news. And finally, this is the last thing I want to talk about. It's so funny. I've mentioned this the last time with Meghan's podcast with Paris Hilton. And one of the things that that really stuck out to me was Meghan apologizing to Paris, actually, because she had judged her. And she said that she was, she felt embarrassed, and she was scared, actually. The thing that made her nervous to do this interview with Paris. And then she apologized for, judging her and also misjudging her. And we talked about this a little bit before. And for me, one of the things that I, learned, and even though I really, other than seeing Paris Hilton in magazines or not in, but on the cover, like she was always on the cover of magazines. And then she's always on the cover of, pick a tabloid, and page 6, the same page 6 that is trying to destroy Meghan, has been the one that, since this girl has been a teenager, and I didn't even realize that until Paris was talking about it. And just how much they were a part of splashing her and snooping about. I mean, she was a teenager, like 16-year-old. Every time she turned around, there's another story in page 6 about her. And she mentions that a lot in her documentary. So I got a chance to watch her documentary yesterday. Actually, I started on Saturday and I was so tired I fell asleep. And so I finally got a chance to watch the whole thing and all the parts that I missed when I fell asleep. But it's really eye-opening, and really, it's actually really great. I mean, to just see who she is, and yeah, she's all, there's all the glamour and the selfies and the posting about herself and all the fashion things and all the different brand things that she does. There's also that side of it, but there's also the side of who she really is as a person, and how different she really is. And she's literally a tomboy, and so different from this glamour person that is posted all over and talked about. And it was really good to be wrong about someone. It was just felt good to just see who she is. And yeah, you can you whether you like the persona that she plays and all of that stuff. She built a whole brand on on the fashion and all of that stuff. But it was so good to be able to see who she is, what she's about, the kind of things that she loves, and just, and also to see just so many times, especially, when for me, teaching or being around teenagers and seeing, they're so much into posting selfies or watching, being on scrolling through Instagram and all of that stuff, and seeing all the glamour and the beauty and all of that stuff in there, and not realize, and then they try to emulate that, not realizing the person that's there is very much not the real person. And it was very, very eye-opening. It was really eye-opening. And then on top of that, just the trauma of her life. I mean, she's a person that has chronic insomnia from the things she suffered in school, in that home that her parents allowed people to kidnap and put her in there for 11 months or whatever. and being abused, and along with other girls, and just seeing the other girls come and join her in this documentary to talk about, their experience. And so it was really, really eye-opening, and I encourage anybody to watch it. And it's so funny, it's kind of weird that also, I didn't even realize, because I've been talking, for some reason Kim Kardashian has been coming up in my conversation so much lately. I was like, what? I've never even seen, like, I've literally never even seen the Kardashian show. I've never seen it. I've also never seen Paris' show, but for some reason they've come up in my conversation, and I think it was Kim doing a podcast thing. That's why that's all come up. But I didn't even realize that she kind of introduced Kim Kardashian to this whole thing, because that's also in a documentary. I was like, oh, I had no idea. And so it just, it's very interesting. Just getting to learn about her life and who she is, and just and also knowing that with all that wealth, I mean, you can look at this and say, okay, rich people problems. And in a lot of ways, a lot of things is that. But then seeing, just with all the money, with all the glamour, with all the stuff that she's doing, that she still is searching for happiness. She's still searching for joy. She's still searching for the love that is not there right at the moment. And I know this documentary was a couple of years ago, so I think maybe now her life is different. I think I don't know. Did she get married? I think I forgot that part. I don't know. Or she has a boy, something. But I know she talked to Meghan about, when she has a child. So maybe, I don't know what her life is like at the second. But it was very interesting to get to know, or get to learn, not know. I mean, still don't know her, but to get to learn more about someone who had this preconceived idea about, or just judged based on whatever persona she put out there. So it's very, very interesting. So but again, if you want to know more about her, and it was great to hear from her sister and her mom and people in her life as to who she is, and what she's about, and the fact that she's a mess like the rest of us talk about, and so in a lot of ways. But she's not this one-dimensional person. There's a lot of different things about her, whether you agree with her or don't agree with her, with some of the things that she's done or not done. But it was good to see all, so many different areas about her. And so it's like, along with that, she is brilliant. She's a brilliant young lady. So kudos for her. I'm so proud that, of her, that she was able to, let people see and come on Meghan's show and talked about, and for me, I think it's one of the reasons why the press, someone had mentioned that she had said, some stuff that, wasn't cool. I think someone said she had said some racist stuff too. Look, people have said a lot of stuff. And so again, not one-dimensional. You don't have to agree with all the stuff that, whether she's done or said, whatever. But for me, it was very interesting to see the different sides of her. And again, my thing is like, none of us are one-dimensional. There's a lot of different areas about us. We don't have to like everything about a person, but you can definitely understand the human. And I think that, and again, that was Meghan's point, is understanding that there's a human being behind all of those things. And I guess the press is all about not humanizing her, not humanizing Meghan, so they can, when they throw barbs at them, it makes it okay for them. If you humanize them, then they'll have to deal with the fact that that's a human being that they're throwing that stuff at. So that's all I got to say on that. That's it. I'm just going to stay in the chat for a bit. I have to jet out of here in a few, but I'm going to stay in the chat and see what y'all saying. Let's see. Well, I'm happy you're here, Emma Day. It's like late to listening was to V. V was on Spotify. Oh, I got to listen to V later. So cool. Thanks for letting me know. Or letting us know. It's new and just talking to me. Wendy Lowman. Wendy says Paris Hilton important discussion was ignored by the press. Instead, the press focused on Duchess Meghan's brief mention of deal or no deal. Yes, absolutely true. And again, I think a lot of that was deliberate, not wanting to hear, or not wanting to, really talk about the human person behind, what either Paris or Meghan. So deal with trivial stuff, so to not deal with the human beings there. So yeah, very true. Cookies and Cream says, I love how Karma is paying a visit to the royals. Look at the blatant disrespect they're receiving. They need to be careful for what they wish for others. I'm telling you, that pie in the face that's very, 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 and that was done in the UK. And that is very, very, very blatant there. And I'm telling you, what you wish for someone else, man, I'm telling you, always come right back at you. Phil Benjoy says, see if her face looks different when she returns. Who knows? Maybe she's gone for plastic surgery. Who knows? Oh, they're talking about Camilla. Oh, well, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. According to the news article, it was a time of relaxation, but who knows? That would be very interesting. V Thomas says, yes, Paris. Paris' life is at a better place now. She is married. Oh, she is married. Okay, she's married and happy and looking forward to start a family. There you go. Because the documentary, she had just broken up with some guy who was being very, very possessive, and she was at a place where, and I think that came from being controlled at that school, which they are, again, they are fighting to get those schools closed down because it's very abusive, and they're still abusing kids today. And so she was at that place where she couldn't deal with that. So it's good to hear that she, she's married, and now I know she talked about having a daughter. It's like, I wish that for her. Sylvia says the reason the liars who have never met Meghan are trying to dehumanize Meghan and say that Meghan is a liar is because they do not want people to believe her when she writes her own story. Yeah, they're doing the same thing to her and Harry. Yep, that is exactly why they're doing it, because when it comes out, they want people to question whether, whether they are telling the truth or not. Yeah, it's a whole the British press have been doing this since the Oprah interview. They've been doing this, and they constantly beat this drum to basically get people. I mean, you see it all over Twitter. They have a whole gang of them on Twitter now every day. Meghan is a liar. Meghan is a liar. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Connie Balmer, for your super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your support. Let's see. It's going. We're just gonna stay in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. Elaine, hi Elaine. Parker says, oh, she's talking to Joan G. The Royals believe in nothing apart from the Royals. Yep. Victoria says, Paris Hilton is married with Carter Riem. Okay, I guess that's her husband. There you go. I am learning. I went back to the documentary, so I guess I'll learn more. But it's so interesting to either read biographies or watch these documentaries, because you learn so many things about people's lives. It's like, oh, really? I didn't know you did this. Really? I mean, like she talked, in the documentary, she talked about, briefly about being in abusive relationships. She said she was in like 5 of them. And there are pictures of her with all of these bruises and stuff on her arms. She said, some of the people have like thrown phones at her, thrown computer at her. I mean, one choked her, strangled her. And it's just like, what? And it's just like, you learn these things and you're like, oh my gosh. And you see the beautiful pictures that they put out. Then again, you would never know people have gone through these traumas, and it's unreal. Let's see. Scrolling down. Hi, Mrs. S. How are you? Happy Monday. I'm so happy you're here. Mrs. S. Kathy says, just FYI, seeing some double-sided comments showing up in the chat. Not sure what they're saying. Okay, I'm not really sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Kathy Gabby, for the alert. Let's see. I am scrolling down, just Madwell said yes, she did, Wendy, and I don't recall her apologizing for it. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Maybe Paris, because if it is Paris, apparently she did use, if that's what you're talking about, apparently she did use a racist word. And okay, Matt, if that's what you're talking about, she said she did, and she didn't recall her apologizing for it. So I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, correct me. But I did see that. I don't know exactly the situation because I haven't found it. So we'll see. I will keep looking to find out about her life because I'm very interested in people's lives. Let's see. Or maybe that's just Snoopy of me, but I am. Let's see. Going down. Oh, Kathy, I think you're it today. I think you're definitely it. Still amazed that so many people are missing the whole point of the Paris Hilton episode. Deliberate. Yeah, it's deliberate. It is deliberate. They're choosing to not focus on what the message of the podcast is. That is absolutely deliberate. And it's so clear. It's so clear. And they're not even, they haven't listened to it, and they're just choosing, they're choosing one part and focus on that one part because it's getting all the hits. So many people, including us, had focused on it, and it's like, okay, that's the last time I'm doing that. So yeah. Let's see. Mad World says, if Paris is wanting the people at the school held accountable, she should do the same. Okay. Explain what you mean, Mad World. Because she does she does want them accountable. So whatever she did. Yeah. You have to look at yourself too if you've done something that needs where you need to be held accountable. Absolutely. So yeah. Cookies and Cream says, those people have God complex. They are heartless, barbaric, racist, sadistic, and insensitive. Okay. I must not. Okay. Explain. Sonia says, I think Paris is very courageous to have told her story. Very true. That's very courageous to, and not just her. There are women in her class from the documentary. There are women in her class or her group that were part of it too, that they were sharing theirs. They all were in a class together, I guess. And excuse me, some of the women were part of the documentary sharing their trauma as well. And what's scary is that a lot of those places are still open and people are still sending their kids there. It is very scary. Those so-called boarding schools, I guess. Unreal. Ginger Jack says, oh, thank you so much for your donation, Ginger Jack. I appreciate it. I love that. Ginger Jack says, Petal, thanks for reminding us to be slow to judge others. I appreciate your hard work. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And I mean, again, this is not to say any of these people are perfect. Paris is by no means perfect. Meghan is by no means perfect. None of us are by any means perfect. But it's so important to be able to, and I think it helps us with compassion and empathy to see, like, yeah, behind all of those things, no matter what it is, we've all messed up. We were all young, and especially when we were teens, we've done stupid things. We've done things that we needed, either to apologize or to be forgiven for. None of us are perfect, and before we pass judgment, it's always important to get to know who the person is behind it. And this doesn't excuse the behavior or anything like that, but it helps you to see that there's a person, and it helps us to, have a little bit more compassion and not be so quick to judge, because some things might happen, and it might be just a symptom of something else that we don't know about. So I think it helps us to realize that, what, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes, we all do stupid things, but we all, again, we're people. And so yeah. It was very, because again, for myself, I had to be like, okay, Petal, you were judgmental. And I was the same. And again, I don't have to like all the things she does, but again, seeing her as a human being, and and I get that also too was the message of the podcast. So seeing the person behind it. So yeah. Sonia says, the more Meghan presents these archetypes, the more we realize how much they are needed. So true. So true. Because even with this past one, with all the things, they've been throwing at Meghan, including bringing up all these photos for shows that she's done and whatever, and throwing it at her, it's just like, you're just proving her point. You're proving why archetypes is so needed, so yeah. So it just, it is really, it is really needed. Joan says, Petal, fortunately, that school has been shut down. Great. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. But there are also some that are still going. There are some that are still open. I never liked the idea. And I think because I've heard so much about boarding schools, and not to say all boarding schools are like that, but I guess I've heard so many things. And when you read those stuff about English boarding schools, and especially that I learned about the Magdalene laundries and all of those things, the thought of sending a child to a boarding school, I mean, that is the most terrifying thing. I mean, because I just assume they're all like that. And I'm not saying they're all like that, but that is what gives me, when I think of boarding schools, that's what I think. So it's just like, yeah. Anyway, so oh wow, Ginger Jack, I thank you so much for that. I think I got that one already, and someone just donated again. Thank you so much. Oh, Joanne, thank you so much. Paris used to annoy me with her bimbo, but that's hit saying she's come a long way. She has come a long way, and that's the thing. It's like, look, you don't have to, no matter where your life has started or what you did as a child or a teenager, whatever, it doesn't mean as a 30-40-year-old you'll be doing the same thing. This is what growth is what change is, what we all need to be doing, and you could start growing no matter what age you are. And so that's the beautiful thing about all of this. It's like, no matter where you start out, doesn't mean that's where you need to end up, And so I love to see growth no matter what it is she's done in her life. Again, I'm only now learning about her and didn't know all this stuff. And a lot of the stuff I learned yesterday. And so, yeah, so that's what you want to see in a person's life, no matter what it is they've done in the past. You want to see growth. You want to see them changing, and especially, changing and using their platform, as huge as it is, to help other people that most likely would not be able to help themselves, or have the help they need. So I mean, that's the most you can ask for from a person. So I really appreciate that. So, and whatever else, I'm sure there's going to be other things in her life that she needs to change and grow in. But again, that's life, right? So I think it's all good. Let's look at the last one, because I have to run out of here and get to my shoot. So let's see, last one. Let me just scroll through. Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator, says, oh, she's talking to Sylvia, says, that's why it's so important that we get the receipts out there. They need to go viral and trend on social media. The racist press, ooh, my clock is going off. The racist press is being relentless in their takedown of Meghan. And this is absolutely so true. And this is why going forward, I'm not going to be highlighting any one of their negative comments. I'm not going to be highlighting any cloud chasers, because what happens when we do that is that we are not, when I'm highlighting them, that means I'm not highlighting Meghan and Harry's work and, you know, our work supporting them. So let our work, let the positive work that they're doing and the, you know, whatever the podcast is about, whatever we're talking about here, let you know, that's what I am going to be focused on. And I hope all of us are focused on that. So I thank you, Cookies and Cream, and all of us here. Again, I am going to run off to my shoot. Thank you to our awesome moderators. I know Lydia came in and then had to rush back out to her job or wherever else she is today. But thank you guys so much. Lydia, Trish, Nelly, Karen M, Julia Rock, Cookies and Cream. Thank you guys so much for all the ways that you make our podcast absolutely a safe place that we can come and chat and just hang out. Thank you to all of our 422 friends who joined us today. I'm so happy you guys are here. I know this is a little bit short, but I have a shoot in like 2 hours, so I have to jet out of here to get there. Thank you so much to our 2 Cents crew members who support the channel monthly. Guys, thank you. And all of us here who have you know, whether it's super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal, Cash App, merchandise, all the ways that you support us. Thank you. I appreciate you, our supporters. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. We're going to end it today and we're going to go back to our new music, which I love. Patrick Patricios is music. Know Thyself is my new my new song. There we go. There you go. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love you guys. And have fun with Baron and Sessions of Success, all the other fantastic podcasts that we support. Let's, you know, with our faces and not with the So I love you guys. I will see you hopefully tomorrow. And have a fantastic day. Joan is saying, I love the music. I love it too. Thank you, Joan.